Morning, guys. Good morning. Let's see. Yeah, so we just had CPI. Let's pull up economic calendar. Okay, had everything done for the day, so. So, better than expected, but still under the previous cap. So, I'll start from the weekly again because we're in the second half of the weekly candle. So, first half of the candle made this wick down. Second half, we're starting to push up. So, as far as potential places to stop, there's really just that up there on the weekly. We need to tread carefully though, because on the daily there's rejections all inside of here, which we are currently up inside of, and we called this yesterday that we were going to come up and retap into this zone right up there. So pushing up in there. This is the weekly high on that one candle, that red line. So yeah, we're gonna be inside that range today. So honestly, it's probably not a trading day. If it is, then definitely half risk, because we already had news today and we're inside this zone. So it could reject anywhere in there, or we could continue straight through it. We don't really know yet. So I'm looking at the lower time frames. Looks like we made a quick move down and then actually made a quick move up right back after the news. So now we kind of have this big area that's a little bit more difficult to navigate. But we're inside of here. Actually, really, we're inside of here for now. So we might just play around in here for a bit until the open, which we got 25 minutes there. Again, it's going to be risky either way you go because we had news. So if we do break below the low, we could see a wick fill. If this low is broken right here, we could fill this entire wick. We could fill half the wick. I mean, you really don't know, especially with it being a news candle. So, and then if this high is broken, the overall trend is bullish. So that's on our side, but we are inside of this big gray rejection zone. So if we do take a buy above here, just know you got to take your profits fast, because anywhere in here is really a rejection area, so it could turn around in there. Let's turn this down a little bit. There we go. Yeah. So there, we're either probably just gonna wait for a breakout of one of these two levels. Currently inside a 250 point range. And then we're gonna mark this low right here. So that would be our ultimate target. What's up, AB? Robo, taking trades today? So if we did get a full wick fill, that's about 200 points here. And then we really don't know to the top of this range, 250 points up in there. So if we do visit that was it the daily? Yeah, if we do revisit the high up here on the daily, then that's definitely a valid buy setup once we break that. In a UJ loser, let's look at UJ. Don't tell me what you're doing. I wanna see if I can figure it out. Okay. So looking at let's look at the weekly candle first. Okay, so weekly candle, first half of the week, we made this push up, rejected there. Now we're coming down. I don't think we've broken this low yet right here. We're gonna mark it. We're gonna drop down to the daily. No, we're close. So if that low's broken, then coming to look left underneath here, we got 3 clean candles here. So if that low gets broken, probably going to come down to these levels. Oops. Probably gonna come down to these levels. Oops. Wow. We're gonna come down here somewhere, and retest somewhere back inside of these zones over here. 4 hour. Look at the 4 hour. Yeah, so we kind of broke structure here a little bit. We were making lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high. This one barely broke structure, and then we started to pull back, but looks like we're gonna break down here, downside. So we could see a retracement from here before it breaks, somewhere inside of these retracement levels, before we start rejecting it here, and then create another leg down to revisit those lows down there. Looks like news drove UJ down. So yeah, I'm expecting it to continue downwards. Let's check out DXY. DXY is still tanking. So we called this from the start of the week that we're expecting DXY to continue to drop. Check out the rest of this weekly candle. From the start, there really hasn't been any bullish pressure on the DXY. You can see it really made no attempt to go upwards. It opened right here, it barely went up, and then from there it's just all been dropping. Earlier on in the week we said probably going to revisit these levels down in there, so I still believe that. Looking at the daily, we made this nice move up, we took liquidity in here, now we're making this move down. So a couple things is going to happen. Either we're going to just keep pressing down and retest this level in here, or we push down here. We took liquidity to the top side, now we press down in here. We could wait for a retracement up inside of here before we see another leg down to that level. I do think it's going to go down there in the next week or so. It could be 2 weeks, it could be this week, you don't know. Friday could push down. Today and Friday could push all the way down there, we don't know. Let's take a look at Apple fast. So Apple has kind of the same look. Overall, the weekly is bullish. The current weekly candle is bullish, sorry, but we're kind of in a little bearish downtrend right here. I expect a retracement because right here we had a break of structure. This is a nice impulse leg down, so I think what we're seeing now is our retracement back up. So expecting price to return somewhere up in there before it either makes a decision to break these highs up there and continue bullish, or reject inside of here and push down. So kind of what I expect for that. Gold, okay, we're inside this zone. I talked about it at the start of the week as well. Weekly candle still pushing up. So yesterday we had a lot of good examples on candles respecting the low. So this is what we kind of see. We have a nice trend going on here. So we have a low here, put in new highs on this candle. The next candle respected the low, respected this low, put in new highs here. Now this candle respected the low down here, put in new highs here. So it's hard to say that gold's going to do anything but keep going up, especially when you have weekly candles closing like that. Then you drop to the daily and it's just straight bullish pressure to the upside, just channeling up. So it's in a difficult spot to be able to trade anything with it, but I would definitely not be looking for anything short right now, just because everything on the higher time frames is against you if you're going to go short. So drop down to the 4 hour. So 4 hour news made this wick news made that wick down. Then we pushed up. Now we're just kind of sitting inside this zone. So really, there's not much to trade on gold. It's kind of more of a waiting game. If we start seeing couple daily candles start rejecting in here, closing bearish in here, then we see another daily candle break these highs, then we can expect more pushing up. But for now, it's too risky to try to buy it, because we've been pushing so hard up, and we're in these zones of high rejections right over here. Once we get up into here though, you got clean traffic. So from 1920 on to 1960, that's a good clean range to kind of play the buy side. But for now, we just kind of sit and watch. Nothing there. GJ. Let's kind of take a look at what we talked about yesterday. So we called sells below 0.48, and you can kind of see how that started to play out. So we were inside that 4 hour range on here, and we broke below what we called yesterday, and from there we have moved 0.48, somewhere right around there, about 185 pips. So could have capitalized off the sell side for sure. Let's take a look here. We're gonna delete everything, kind of see where we think it's gonna go for the rest of the week. Okay, so the first of the week, we broke this high right here, made this push up, made that top wick. Now the candle's flipping bearish. So if we continue to see it push down and we get a close somewhere down here, it's probably not going to break this low this week. But if we get this bearish close somewhere down inside of there, that's setting up a good next week for it to break this low and continue to fill this wick down inside of here. So if we do get that bearish close, I'm expecting more bearish pressure through the next couple weeks for sure. If not, it's kind of in a situation where we're rejecting. We're in an upward trend right here, but we're rejecting this fib level, the 718. So it really just depends. If we hold this low, then we're probably heading up. But if we break that low, the chances of us actually going down and filling this wick are pretty high. So kind of in a spot where we wait for it to show us the direction, and then we can execute on something. So EURUSD. EURUSD's pushing up. It's breaking that level that we talked about yesterday. Weekly candle. Let's delete everything so we can get a fresh look. Weekly candle, nothing but bullish. So you can see straight from the open, we didn't even attempt to make a move down. We opened here, immediately pushed up. We broke highs here. We just broke highs here. So now, ultimately, we have till 106.12 as far as where we should be going. Now it might take a couple weeks, because we've had 6 consecutive bullish days. So probabilities are that when you get a push like this of just straight bullish days, you're probably going to get a couple of retracement days before we start to see a turnaround up there. But you never know. With how volatile the markets are, sometimes you could see just a single daily candle come up and push up there. So probably not this week, because we just had news and tomorrow's Friday. So I'm expecting either next week or the next week after that we're visiting that level up there. So if we look at the 4 hour, we can kind of get a better idea of this impulse that we have. So we made that move up. Structure's clearly broken up here. We also kind of took some liquidity here and as well as down here. So we kind of made a little mini trend here. We started creating lower lows, lower high, lower low, but then we finally broke out of that with this leg. We broke structure there, we broke structure there, we broke that high there. So now we could see a move down, back up, or just continue up. Okay, let's go back here, check on this. Yep, still inside of this range right here. We got about 10 minutes till the open candle. Okay, we got about 10 minutes to the open. Let's take a look at NASDAQ real fast, SPX. Kind of see what's different on those. Note to self, get out of trade before the news hits. Definitely a good note. But also another good note is don't trade any time before the news. A lot of times you have a lot of manipulation going into the market, so just when you're new, especially, I would stay away from news. I mean, I've been trading for 4 years and I still don't trade news, so I stay away from news because there's so much uncertainty. You could easily just go up super fast, go down super fast, go back up super fast. You never know with news, so I don't trade news. But a lot of people like to gamble on news, which is fine. But your probabilities are not great there, so. Okay, I kind of want to compare weekly candles with all these different indices. US30 and NASDAQ both. NASDAQ kind of did the same thing. I think it was gold probably, where there's no bearish pressure at all in the side of this candle yet. So we pushed up straight from the open of the weekly candle. We put in that high today. Now we kind of are backing off a little bit, but with the open today, we could see a break of that high and continue upwards somewhere up in here. Daily candles. Take a look. So daily candle on US30 still bullish, but we are inside of that zone. NASDAQ, a little bit more of a clean zone to work with here. We're gonna drop this down to here. But if you were wanting to trade one, NASDAQ might be a little cleaner, because if you look at US30, we're coming up, we're already inside of the zone. We're already ejecting inside of the zone. NASDAQ, we're coming up, there's support or resistance up in here, but really we're looking at the most recent data. There's clean candles right here, so breaking this high, there's definitely more room for NASDAQ to continue upwards, so that might be something to watch today. Potential setup on NASDAQ instead of US30. SPX, we're kind of similar to US30, so we have this rejection up there. We're not inside of it yet though, so where US30 is inside of this zone and SPX is not, kind of gives you an overall idea that potentially we might see SPX tap inside of there with this open. Let's look at the 4 hour. So we created high right here, drop down a little bit. Let's clear all this stuff right here. So we created the high right there. We got these lows right there. So kind of similar to US30 right in there. So drop down, continue to drop down. Looking pretty similar here on both of these. Continue to drop, and 5 minute, we're gonna fix this there. 5 minute, we're good there. So So now we've got 7 minutes for the open, so we kind of sit, we wait, we watch all three of these. We're gonna just keep an eye on them. I don't know if I have this set up. I do. Oh, wow. It's got old markings on it. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna watch both of these pairs. Actually, we're gonna watch NASDAQ because NASDAQ looked like it had the best range to fill. So we're gonna mark the low here. We're gonna mark the high here. And then we need to go up a little bit. Go up more. Yeah, so look in here. After this high's broken, there's nothing until really up here. So NASDAQ can definitely give us the best buy setup for sure. Okay, so now we've got US30 over here. We've got NASDAQ over here. And we're just gonna kinda, I wanna make sure these are both on the same time frame. This. There we go. Okay. Both on the 5-minute time frame, so we can watch both of them at the same time. Okay, let's check on DXY real fast. DXY made this move down. We retraced. We're inside of that rejection zone, so we could see another push to the downside for sure. I'm gonna delete this gray area because we know we're inside of there. I'm gonna put risky rejection area, buy with caution. So up in here is our risky rejection area on US30. So now we're just gonna wait a sec. We got 4 minutes till the open. So anybody have any other trades they want me to look at while we wait? Okay. EURUSD and NZUSD. Okay. I already did EURUSD. Let's go full screen for a sec. I already did EURUSD. Overall, we're bullish, so either we're gonna continue pressing up, or we have this area that we have these inefficiencies down here that we might see a retracement down in there before we make our move up. But looking at the daily and the weekly, we're super bullish on both those, so we should continue pushing upwards, especially with these candles on the weekly. There's really nothing stopping it till 106-ish, 106, so we'll keep pushing up there. NZD, USD, Sorry, I gotta do these quick because we're getting close to the open. Weekly, we're bullish on the weekly, but there's a lot of rejections up in here, so we could potentially turn around there. Looking at the daily candles, we're rejecting in here, so we broke the high and the low. So really, there's no clear direction on here. So be careful with NZD USD. Probably in some kind of ugly retracement as well. Yeah, so you probably might see a rejection here to the downside potentially. So be careful with NZD USD. USD CHF. Weekly, super bearish to the downside, but we rejected a couple times. We're starting to flip our bullish candle, so we could see some more bullish pressure over the next couple days. We're kind of in an ugly range though, so we need to wait for these highs to be broken before we can look for any kind of buy setup there. Overall, probably bullish on this. This is a nice little fib right there, so we could see a rejection here and start pushing to the downside. So let's hop back over here real fast. I'll go back over those again in just a sec. Yes, sir. You're welcome. Okay. We got 12 seconds to the open. Just remember, if you guys are taking buys above here, be careful. Big risky rejection area inside of there. So if this high is broken, you can take buys, but it's going to be risky setup because we're inside of that zone. So we also just had a huge news event, so I'm not sure how much it's going to move right now. Let's pull up the volume. We'll leave the volume off for now, but looks like we have a pretty slow start to the candle. But a lot of times that happens. It doesn't always just move right off the start. So I'll go back over USD CHF in just a second, RDK. Once we see this move happen, I'll do a full good analysis on that one. That one's a little fast, so. Looks like NASDAQ starting to push up. No problem, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. SPX, take a look at that. SPX is the same as US30. NASDAQ's the only one pushing up right now. And remember, we said NASDAQ definitely has cleaner buys to the upside. So again, it's a news day, so keep that in mind when you're taking any trades today. IN, you kind of figured that out the hard way earlier today, but on news days, you don't know what's going to happen for sure. So US30 starting to break down a little bit. Still not a ton of volume. Oops. Okay. Kind of interesting to see how much more NASDAQ had an increase in volume with the news. It sat really low down here and saw a huge spike here, while US30 was a lot higher, so the increase wasn't as much. Looks like NASDAQ's flipping as well. So if we break this low here, could see a fill of this wick down here. Let's do this as well. Let's mark that. And now we both these are pushing down. Keep an eye on SPX. DXY. DXY is pushing down as well. So this could be a fake out right here. We might see a break here, fake out, and then a flip to the bullish side, especially if DXY is pushing down as well. if you are gonna take sell as well, it's still high risk today. So half risk here if we break below here, because a couple things. DXY is dropping. It's a news day. We just had that big CPI news, so there was a lot of volume put into the market there. So coming down. It's like we just tapped that, but we didn't break it yet. So starting to reject here a little bit. SPX still is not even close to breaking that. Okay, we're gonna break here. This is the same. NASDAQ. Yeah, big volume spike on these. Not really with US30, but big increase on NASDAQ for sure. So we're breaking below here. So the problem with this is your stop loss would be huge. So you could look for, again, high risk, but if you were to enter, you could look for entries above this candle. But I would not take that right now. Because if not, so we just had that 5-minute candle close. It closed super bullish, or super bearish, sorry. So your stop would be huge. It would be about 177 points when you only have a 190 point to the downside, and who knows if that's all gonna fill. That's really high risk. So what we could do is see if one of these 5-minute candles closes bullish up inside of here, and then we broke below this new created low. We need to move this. This is our new low right here. We need to wait for either bullish close here. If this candle flips bearish after you create this wick in the second half of the candle, so give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. If it makes this wick and then we flip bullish, then there's a high probability that it's going to continue to fall after it flips to the bearish side. So kind of keep an eye on that. Let's flip back to the DXY real fast. DXY, if we break this low, we're probably heading back to the downside, at least to retest down here. We're gonna keep an eye on that there. That's starting to push up now. So yeah, so we're starting to break the low here. So high risk, but you could enter here, stop above this, and hope we fill this entire wick down there. Especially if the DXY is going to start heading upwards, this will play out in our favor for sure. Yeah, if you're taking this, use super low risk. Don't use your full risk. Definitely don't over risk on this, because this is a very high risk trade with news and all that stuff. So this is just a wick fill too, so who knows if we're even going to fill any of that or how much of that. So just, again, just be careful with it. XY back here, still pushing up. SPX getting close to breaking that low. Looks like this candle might flip back bullish. go look at the 30-minute candle, because this just opened. So in the first 10 minutes, we saw a quick push down, which kind of makes me think that we might, if we reject here, then we're probably going to start flipping back to the upside. Let's check out SPX, DXY again. DXY still pushing up. We need the DXY to break this high right there. Let's scroll through all our other stuff real fast that we had marked up. EURUSD still within that range. GJ broke this high, now we're retracing, so we might reject down here before making another move up. Gold, again, talked about gold, how we're inside of this zone in here, so we could just hang out in here and reject. I'm not looking to take any kind of buys in here until we start forming a nice trend above there. US30 still chilling here. SPX and NASDAQ here. NASDAQ closed with a bullish candle here. SPX bullish doji candle, but looks like we might be heading up to break the high up there. So the volume is not as high today for sure because we just had CPI. So let's take a look at Apple. Well, let's do it on here because that's where we marked it up. Yeah, so it's looking like Apple's probably going to flip bullish as well. EXY. Pushing there. US30 might come and save you if you guys are in it. We rejected hard, but we're still making another push down. So hopefully we break that. We continue pressing down. If not, if we reject again, we're probably heading back up. So looks like our 1-to-1 is 60 pips about, or 60 points. So our 1-to-1 is right here, somewhere right there. We'll see if we can hit that. Looks like we're starting to push down a little bit. DXY still pushing up. Good sign there. NASDAQ, SPX finally broken that low there. So we'll see if this pushes down. It has a smaller range to the downside. But yep, there we go. Starting to push down there. Still pushing down on US30. If we can get a candle close down here, then we're in good business to keep pushing down. But we want this high to be respected here, and we want this high to be respected there. My break even on US30 is 33736. 33736. Are you in buys? Oh, are you talking like that's where you're gonna put it in break even? Apple's starting to break down as well. DXY is hop back to the DXY. DXY broke that high up there, so we should keep pushing down. Unless it decides to turn around up in here. So we're getting close to our take profit one. Let's get that out of the way right there so we can see when that gets hit. Getting close. We are about 11 points away there. Okay. Okay, so TP1 is hit. Okay, now move stop loss to break even. Another risk-free trade, and the win streak goes to 4 in a row. 4 trade win streak. Our stops are at our entry, so we can't lose trades here, or we can't lose any money here. We just secured 70% of our position right down here. Now we let it run. Next take profit is going to be right. Let's drop down, see if we can. Oh, there's nothing. Next take profit is going to be right here. TP2. Oops. Congrats on the win. I hit my limit for the day, so I didn't take trade. Good job, man. What we talked about yesterday. Can't be in every trade at once, so kind of pick and choose your setups. Once you're done, you're done. So yeah, we secured our profit right here. Stops right there. So if this gets hit, TP2 gets hit, we're going to take off another 50% of our open running position, and then I'm going to move my stop loss to TP1. So that secures more profit here, as well as puts our stop loss in profit, so that no matter what, if we get stopped out, we're stopped out in profit. So just kind of some of my profit taking and my risk mitigation technique. So looks like we're about to, yeah, TP2 is hit, so move SL here. Okay, SL is at 33,842. Hey, AB, what were you talking about? What were you talking about? Your break even is at 33,736. Your break even's right here. What does that mean? Are you in a buy? Oh, did you get in a little late, so your stop loss was bigger? So, oh, I see. Yeah, you got in late. Where did you put your stop loss? Did you put it like above the high or something? 33912. So your entry was 33912. So yeah, you entered up there. 5 minute, and your stop loss 34,088. Oh yeah, that's why. So you put it above the high up there. So yeah, so when you have momentum, you're able to put it right above the candle, because if we look here, 5 minute candle made a high, made a low. Next 5 minute candle made a high, respected this high. Next 5 minute candle made a high, respected this high. Next candle, it's open right now, but if it's going to keep pushing down, we're going to respect that high. So my kind of logic for my stop loss is, once we put in that high in the first place and then we broke the low, then we were able to put it up here, because if it's going to continue down, it's going to push back up. It's not going to push back up here. If it pushes back up there, then this trade's invalid and we shouldn't be in it anyways. So there's no point to not have a tight stop loss up here, because it's going to be invalid if it breaks this high. So that's just kind of why I do that. But if you want to do a safer stop loss, the only problem is the move is going to have to be huge to be able to get to 1-1 fast off the opening candle. The reason we do that is because these 5 minute candles, they're not very big. So on one 5 minute candle, you're able to hit 1-1 pretty fast, like we did here. We already took profits in the first 5 minutes. Now we're at we moved to break even. we took second profits here after 10 minutes, and now our stop loss is in profit right there. So hopefully it keeps dropping for you, but yeah, that's a big. So your 1-to-1 is probably, your 1-to-1 is about where our final take profit is. Okay, we're still pushing down. And let's look at these candles again. So this is kind of something I want to go over every day to show you guys. This is what I was talking about on the 5-minute AB, but look at these candles. This is what you want to see when you are joining in with a trend. So we have a high here, we have a high here, we have a high here. Scroll in, we have a high here. This almost broke it, but look, respected the high. We have a high here, we have a high here, we have a high here. None of these candles have broken the high. So we have a high here. This candle didn't break the high yet, and now we're breaking the low down here. So perhaps US30 will continue dropping, might be the start of the recession. Yeah, I mean, overall, we look at the daily. It made this move up, but we've been kind of in this downtrend for that whole 2022 basically. We did come up and test this level, but there's a lot of rejections and stuff up in here. So and we did reject there, so we made this move down. Could be retracing here, and you're right, it could be a start of a new downtrend in here, just creating lower lows and lower highs for sure. So you look at the change of trend on the same time frame that you took the trade on. So yes and no. So the reason I start with the weekly and the daily, because that gives the best thing that you can do is follow the daily trend when you're taking trades. So what I do is I take a look at the current weekly candle, and I look at where we're at in the weekly candle. So this is against the trade we took today, was against the trend. That's why overall I'm not expecting it to run very far, at least today. We could definitely see it change trends, but weekly is bullish, daily is bullish. But we did talk about earlier today that we are in this rejection zone, so that's kind of why I was comfortable with sells, because we could reject off of here easily, and the daily candle was, when we started, it was up there somewhere, up in there. So I think I said that you're able to tell that inside of here is not really ideal for buys. That's why I kind of said with caution you need to take buys, because we're inside that rejection zone. So that gave me an idea that overall we're bullish on the weekly, but we're inside that zone on the daily. So then we can drop down to the 5-minute and see that, yep, we're inside of that zone. Where do we need to break in order to continue downwards pressure? And that was that level right there. We broke there during high volume time. A lot of times people will try to play these breakouts during like Asian session. There's no volume there, so you're gonna get a lot of fake outs. You're gonna get faked out thinking, oh, this candle's, it's pushed above the high, and then it just sucks right back down below, just kind of fakes you out, and it'll do that back and forth the whole session. And then you start getting into higher volume times, and what you have a lot of the time is sorry, where's my drawing tool? You start getting into the London session. Say London session pushes upwards. Okay, so now coming into the start of New York, the London session's volume starts to die out, and we start going sideways a little bit right before the New York Open. So now we're about probably an hour away, 30 minutes away from the Open, and we're creating this channel in here. So when the New York opens, a lot of time what you see happen is, since London made this push up, New York and all the institutional traders, banks and stuff in there, they want the same price. They don't want to buy from up here. If the overall trend is bias, or the overall bias is bullish, they don't want to buy up here. So what will they do? Well, they're going to come back down into these prices down in here before they start buying up into there. So that's where we kind of capitalize, and we see that, hey, London was bullish. We created these levels here. So either we see a continuation here, which sometimes happens, but for the most part, you see a retracement. So once you expect a retracement back to these levels. So once that low that London put in inside that range is broken, then we have good momentum to the downside where we can start taking profits down inside of there, expect it to turn around, or it can just keep dropping. It really just depends. But that's something that tends to happen a lot. Looking here now, so each of these candles are respecting the high, respecting the high, respecting the high, respecting the high. This one broke the high, so something to kind of keep an eye on. We can mark this out on the 1 minute right here. Each one US30 perhaps a bullish flag. What's your thoughts? Yeah, for sure. Are you talking about this right here? Where's my something like this? Yeah, so definitely yeah, bearish flag. So something that definitely need to watch for is you're creating this channel upwards. We're up here and we're inside of this zone. So you might see it reject one more time, come back up in here, and then it might drop down because yeah, this is a bearish flag. Definitely shows that there's downside potential if it were to break out of there, and it would come pretty quick usually when you have these kinds of flags, especially coming up to a daily zone. So I definitely see what you're seeing for sure. Made that push up and we rejected it pretty hard, so could start to see it drop for the next couple days for sure. Let's go back to the 5 minute real fast, make sure our final take profit wasn't hit. No. So our final take profit's down here, so it looks like we probably got stopped out at this stop loss right there. So good trade for anybody that took it. Congrats on the win. Someone else asked a question. Oh, RDK, yeah. So do you look at the change of trend on the same time frame that you took the trade on? Yeah. So you have to start, obviously you have to have rules. So follow weekly and daily flow. Okay. Weekly, definitely, let's go full screen. We don't need to look at this anymore. Weekly, definitely bullish on the current weekly candle, but drop down daily inside of this zone. So that gives us the potential that we could capitalize on sells like we did today. We're inside a rejection zone on the daily. And what do we know about trend changes? Well, you got to start from the lower time frames first. So the daily is going to take longer to break this. Then the daily might look like that, but the 5 minute, because you're super low, may look something like this. Break here, we might see a couple of these inside there, just inside of one bearish candle. So once that 5 minute shifts and you're inside of a daily rejection zone, you're able to capitalize on a break of the low and to continue to the downside. Today would have been a good day to use buy or sell stops. Sure, but manual entry worked as well. I know AB got in about the same price as me, so looks like we're gonna push up now. We're not in this trade anymore, so all profit secured there, and we'll call it a day on that. There was one more pair, USD CHF. RDK wanted me to look at that. USD CHF. Any other pairs you guys in the chat want me to look at? Tranquil. Got anything? Okay. Start on the weekly. Sorry, I'm gonna do a better analysis for you on this one. Okay. Looking at the weekly. Super strong bearish momentum here through the last however many weeks this is. Last couple months. We've been pushing down pretty hard on USD CHF. Looks like this current weekly candle tapped into these areas down in here. Somewhere in there. And it rejected hard, and it's flipping bullish here. So now we go jump down to the daily time frame. We have a high here, and we have a low here. Now, sells from here below this level would be difficult because we're in that same situation as US30, where we're in that daily zone of rejection, or we rejected it. We just tapped out of that rejection zone. So now we're inside of this range, back and forth. Jump to the 4 hour. You can see this range even more. So potential to retest the bottom because we're rejecting here. We've had several 4 hour candles reject here, but this high right here was put in before this candle dropped. Now this current 4 hour candle is respecting this low. If we come up and we test this high, then we're going to come up, and if we break that high, we're going to come up and we're going to test these overall resistant levels here. Once those highs are broken, we've got it's still fairly ugly, but our next level that's probably going to go to is somewhere within this rejection up in there. So 94,268. Drop to the hour. Let's drop a little lower. 30-minute, 15-minute. So super ugly because we had the news. So news pushed us down, pushed us back up. We made that move back down. We rejected inside of here. We filled these inefficiencies in there. Now we're just kind of stuck within this on the lower time frames. This high and this low. Now we are in a game of waiting. We're in the middle. We're in a 95 pip range. So now we wait for the high to break. If that high breaks, we expect continuous bullish momentum to 94, 100 basically. The low breaks, we have a nice kind of start of a mini trend. We have a nice kind of mini trend putting in if we respect this high right here. We have, let's drop to the 5-minute, we have high, low, lower, high. If we respect here and we break down below here, we're starting to put in a little micro trend. We might revisit these levels down inside of there. It all is dependent on this high holding right here. So H1 bearish engulfing on US30. Oops. Let's take a look. Yeah, definitely is an engulfing candle, but with this being a news candle, it's hard to put any weight on that. I wouldn't look too much into that right now, especially because we're rejecting the bottom of this channel right now. So a lot of times what you see happen is you see flags being made like this, and you get a lot of retail traders thinking that this is a breakout right there, so they're short right here. But a lot of times what you see happen is an actual move breakout to the upside, which gets people to think that we're buying, and then they start buying there, and then it drops to the downside. They probably got their stop losses somewhere in there. They get broken down in there. So you get a lot of fake outs with these kind of setups first, a lot of times to the upside before it actually makes that move to the downside. So but yeah, that is a bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing candle there. Not going to put too much weight on that right now though. So $30 Nasdaq almost reached the bottom. Go to SPX and US30. We all almost got there, but took some good profits along the way, so we're good for today. Our entry was right there, about stop loss there. We went about 1 to 3 ish on our risk reward. So obviously we took profits before the 1 to 3 hit, so it's not exactly 1 to 3. And then we got stopped out. We got stopped out about 33,870 area, because once we got down here we had taken profits up there. I think, yeah, right here is where we got stopped out. 33,833. So you trade live every day? Yeah, man. Every day at the same time. I'm here every day at the same time. Every day for the most part. Some days I have to miss, but from 9 a.m. Eastern time to usually about 10 a.m. Eastern time, just for an hour every day. Try to find one setup a day, try to get one win a day, and call it a day. Yesterday we kind of went over trading. A couple people in here said they had over traded, which we kind of helped make a trading plan yesterday. So I think you can go watch that. That's somewhere near the end of yesterday's live if you want to go watch that. But kind of talked about creating a system and sticking to it, and that's how it's super easy to be profitable if you stick to a system and you follow it. Most people don't have systems and they just trade what they want whenever they want. So it's all about discipline. But yeah, I'm here every day from about 9 a.m. Eastern time to around 10 a.m. Eastern time. So after US Open, you don't trade for the rest of the day. One shot, one kill. Yeah, pretty much. I like to take advantage of high volume and momentum. So right, that open at 9:30 a.m. is where you're getting all the inflow of the New York volume. You get all those institutions coming into the market. So that's really the one time of the day where the volume is consistent every single day. So if that's not in your trading time, what I recommend you do is you go to the hourly time frame and you scroll through and you look at every day when the highest volume is. So obviously on US30, every day around 7 to 8, it's going to be high. You're going to have spikes here every day, but it's going to be different on each of the pairs. So gold's usually around like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. So kind of gold is more in between that session of the New York and London session overlap, is where generally you get a lot of the moves made and the most volume in there. But for me, US30, yeah, right around the New York Open. If I take one trade, I win that, then yeah, I'm done for the day. If I lose a trade and I have a clear idea of what's probably going to happen, then I'll give it one more chance around 8 o'clock, because a lot of times you'll get a move one way at 7:30, and then at 8 o'clock you get the move back the other way. And that's kind of what we talked about with London going up. At the open, you'll get a retracement of that London, and then the rest of the session you get a continuation of that, because US institutions want that same pricing to be able to get that low price and then push it up. So that's kind of my theory, is that if 7:30 doesn't work for me, I'll give 8:30 a chance, only if it's super clean. If there's any kind of risky rejection areas or something that screaming that I'm not 100% positive on, then I'm done for the day. And I'm perfectly fine with taking one trade a day. I think that's something that most people need to get over, is the love of being in the market. I don't care if I'm in the market or not in the market anymore, and that just comes with experience. And I've been doing this for 4 years, so you don't get that kind of dopamine anymore from entering trades. I definitely know that when I first started, I was the same way. I was on my demo account, I was scrolling through everything. Oh, this is pushing down, I'm gonna sell, and then I'm gonna go here, I'm also gonna sell here, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna buy here. Like I had freaking 10 trades open at a time when I first started, and I think everyone starts right there. So I guess that's kind of a good piece of advice, is if you're new, open a demo account and open a $100,000 demo account and place as many trades as you want on as many pairs as you want with as big of lot size as you want. And once you do that, you'll see it doesn't work. You'll lose your account fast. So get all that trading out of you. I know it's fun when you first start. It's fun to place trades and it's fun to watch. I remember I used to place a trade and I was looking at my phone like literally every 5 minutes. While I'm driving, while I'm at the gym, just couldn't stay off of MetaTrader 4. So now that I created this system where I have 1 hour to trade a day, I don't look at the charts at all after that, and it really helped with my stress levels and just staying off the charts is good. You don't want to sit on the charts all day. That doesn't. You might think it's doing you good to watch all day. It doesn't. Pick one time frame or pick one time of the day. Come back every day at the same time. Trade that time and be done for the day. And you'll get really good at it, and you'll be able to take whatever trade you want. And if it wins, win. If you lose, it doesn't affect you. I don't get affected by losses and wins anymore because I know I've had so many of both of them that it's just part of the game. You can't win every trade, you can't lose every trade. So keep firing away each day. You're gonna come out on top as long as you stick to your system. So that's my advice. Go start a demo account. Trade as much as you want. Trade as many pairs. Trade 100 lots if you want, and you'll see how fast that blows your account and doesn't work. So create your system, stick to it. You'll see results in months. And that is my rant for today. So anybody else want to look at anything before I hop off? Any other pairs, trades? AUDCHF. Yeah, let's take a look at odd CHF. Definitely not a pair. I don't know if I've ever. Oh, I guess I have traded it. Let's see. When were these markings from? 2021. I was marking trend lines. Nice. I guess I did trade this a long time ago. Or at least I looked at it a long time ago. Okay, looking at the weekly. Weekly came down and, or sorry, about a month ago. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow for sure. It's a Friday, so I probably won't take any trades, but I'll be here marking stuff up for everybody. So I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Have a good day. On the weekly, a couple weeks ago, we broke this low up here, and since then, we've been putting in new highs, or new lows, and new lows, and new low, new low. Now, we've made this push up, and we broke the high right here, and we probably broke this high right there. Let's mark that. Drop down to the daily. High right there. But this whole area actually is a rejection area. So we rejected, it looks like we actually rejected this on today's candle. So I would not be surprised if for the rest of this weekly candle we start sucking back down inside of here. Daily, we could see a reject. We could see this candle flip. Let's mark the daily low. If that candle starts to flip, then we're going to see bearish pressure downside to the downside probably today and tomorrow. So let's mark right here. And now we have this high that we put in right there. So now we have this 4-hour range that we're in. Drop down to the lower time frames. You can see we're starting to consolidate in there. This high, if it breaks, probably going to see bullish pressure, but we're inside of this zone. So it could reject anywhere up inside of there. You don't know. But if you're going for the bulls, you're waiting for this high to break. Where it goes next, anywhere inside of here, we could decide to turn around, could break the high, and we could continue up. For the downside, we're using this low on this 4-hour candle as kind of the breakout point. We had this rejection here, but that was from the news, I believe. Yeah, that's from the news earlier today. That kind of moved everything. So that shifted down. We're gonna move this right here. So now, break of this level down here. We gotta be careful with this rejection wick, but with that being news, I'm not too concerned about it. Break of that low, we're gonna continue seeing downward pressure. On the 4-hour, once that low is broken, we have a nice trend right here. So look at all these candles lows. These were a good momentum, a good trend with momentum here. So break of this low here, we can expect a mirror of this to the downside right here, and a push down somewhere within these rejection zones, 63,400 level. So I'm gonna, if you're here tomorrow, remind me, RDK, and we'll take a look at where we're at on this. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this, and we'll take a look at it again tomorrow to see what happens. But yeah, we're starting to reject this level, so not be surprised if we break that low and start pushing to the downside to 63,400, somewhere in that area. So that is that for EURUSD. But I think, is there anything else you guys want me to look at? If not, then we're gonna call it a day today. So yeah, I think we're good. So another good win today. 4-trade win streak. So if you guys are taking these trades, your account should be growing. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. So have a good day, guys. Peace out.